Hello everybody, welcome to Angkor Wat Archaeological Park. Today we're going to explore the big loop. So there's two different circuits that most people do when they visit Angkor. The small loop, which includes Angkor Wat itself, and then a bigger loop which includes about 5 really cool temples that are usually they have less tourists. I've got like my 7-day pass, and this is the most sacred thing that I currently own. So it used to be like my passport or my camera or my money. Oh no, it's this 7-day pass. I'm so excited. So the temples on this loop that we're going to have a look at, you've got Preah Khan behind me, which we'll go in a second. Also on that loop is Neak Pean, Som, and then you've got East Mebon and Preah as well. So it's 5 temples in total to explore on the big loop. Let's have a look. So this is a 12th century temple that was built for King Jayavarman VII. So we're in the central chambers now of Preah Khan, and that right in front of us is a sandstone stupa that was added by Buddhists who used the temple kind of 16th century. The stupa is not part of the original construction, and you can see all these holes in the wall where they'd probably been hanging like decorations or something. The roof is not in existence today because the roofs used to be wooden. As you go through the main central chambers, you find these pedestals, and at some point in the past there would have been statues or of Buddhas maybe on them. So many of these chambers are so well preserved. So walk out right out to the back of Preah Khan, and then this is the kind of view and peacefulness that you'll get. This is what it's like deep inside Preah Khan temple. It's quite dark, it's quite cold. There's a lot of places for statues. There's evidence of places for like irrigation and water collection. You can see a kind of decapitated Buddha statue there in that one. The way that the temple is structured is it's got central chambers and then 4 main routes coming off that. So basically follow it out like a cross from the centre, and the deeper that you go in, the better it gets. Oh, here's a really good example of the irrigation channels that have to collect the water here at the end in pots and use it for cleansing or washing away of sin. From the central chamber at Preah Khan, make sure you follow the route to the left, and then this is what you'll find. Welcome to Neak Pean, or Neak Pean as the Cambodians pronounce it, and this is possibly the smallest but one of the most beautiful temples in Angkor Archaeological Park. This is another 12th century temple, and my tuk-tuk driver and my guide has just explained to me that they called it the Temple of the Worship of the Dragon King because people in the dry season would come here when they could get to it and pray for the rains to arrive for their crops and water to come. So that would obviously happen in the wet season, and they would use the water around Neak Pean, and then the dry season would occur and they would start the prayer once again. Welcome to Tar Som Temple. This temple is otherwise known as Tomb Raider 2 because if you go right far to the back of the temple, you'll find where the banyan tree has grown over the gate. Behind me you can see some of the detail in the statues there. It's 12th century temple. It was built around the same time as Preah Khan for the same king. The temple's gone under a lot of restoration between 1998 and 2012 because it was probably completely destroyed. You can see where I'm going to go like proper Tomb Raider in there. The temple was destroyed, I think it was about 15th or 16th century, and it was left just completely derelict and as a temple ruin for quite a few centuries. But then especially with the popularity of the Tomb Raider movies, this is really popular with the tourists now, so they spent a lot of money kind of supporting the structures and preserving it nowadays.
Did you buy one postcard? 10 for $1.
Welcome to East Mebon. This is the 4th temple of the big circuit, or the big loop, and this temple is 10th century, so I'm going to go in and check it out right now. gosh, these are big steps. Yeah, they're elephants. This is the elephant temple. Oh, there's more elephants over here. There's basically like sets of elephants on each corner. Let's just go over here and show you them. So cool. Gonna be losing weight doing all these temple steps. Look at him, he's so cool. So each corner has one of those little guys. The sun's quite bright now. It's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The sun will be setting in about an hour. Might make it to Preah up for sunset actually. And then we've got guardian lions going into the central area. So this temple was earlier Angkor Wat. East Mebon was dedicated to Shiva, so it was a Hindu temple. There's a later statue of the Buddha inside, because what happened with these temples is that they were Hindu and then the Buddhists used them at a later time. And Cambodian religion is kind of a combination of Hinduism and Buddhism. There's a main chapel here, which is the central temple building, and then there's 4 surrounding temple buildings on each corner on the next level or the next tier down, and then there's another tier below with some more smaller sheddies, and I'll show you those. Oh, there's some brilliant detail up above here. It's brick and sandstone, because these are as early as almost as early as the Rollers Temple group. Just gone across here, there's a smaller little sheddies and gateways all outside. It's really, really cool.
And welcome to Preah, which is the final of the 5 main temples on the outer loop in Angkor Wat Archaeological Park. Preah Khan was built around 961, 962 AD, and it was so it's quite a lot earlier than Angkor Wat itself. If you look at the structure as we come through here, you can see that it's quite a steep temple. It's actually a 3-tiered pyramid-style temple. It's dedicated to the Hindu god of Shiva. Shiva's the god of death and destruction in Hinduism. And the main prangs at the top are representative of Mount Meru in Hindu mythology. Because it's older, you can tell by the structure of it, it's made from sandstone and brick, so you'll be able to see the two different types of stone, which signify that it's quite an earlier temple. This temple is a really good place to explore when the sun sets, because as you can see, it's quite a jungle setting. This was completely covered by jungle, I think up until around the 1930s.